Hello and welcome to Phyre's LEGO Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at the LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series Republic Gunship. This set was released in 2021. It is set number 75309. It has 3,292 pieces. It originally retailed for $350 in the US, but in summer of 2022, right about the time that I am recording this video, several LEGO sets are going to be having price increases, and this moving forward is going to be available for $400 in the US. So definitely an expensive set. Today's review is going to hopefully help you determine whether this set is worth it for you or not. So the front box art here, it's the standard 18 plus box art with the plain black background, kind of a white glow surrounding the picture of the gunship itself, which looks really nice on the front. We've got LEGO Star Wars logos here, Disney logo, and up on the top above the Republic gunship, we do have the Republic logo, which the first run of this set unfortunately featured a misprint, or really just an oversight by the LEGO Star Wars design team or whoever designs the box art. And it was originally the Galactic Empire logo, not the Republic logo. So glad to see that they've fixed that. You can kind of see from here that the box is slightly damaged. It got slightly creased in a couple spots on shipping. So if, for me, that doesn't matter a ton. But if you're a collector who likes to keep things in boxes and wants those boxes in as pristine of condition as possible, I would definitely recommend getting this at a LEGO store in person so you can actually examine the boxes yourself, because there's always the risk when you have something shipped to you that you could get a little bit of damage like this. The back of the box shows an alternate view of the gunship on the display stand with the two minifigures that are included, some more logos here. We've got the actual dimensions of the set, and over here another couple angles of it in smaller form. Down here we've got a comparison of the set with a concept of the actual model, the actual ship from the movie. We've also got some scenes from, I believe it's episode 2, Attack of the Clones, the Battle of Geonosis here. So just showing off the actual Republic gunship from the movies in action. This side of the box, and you can see some more of the distortion that happened during shipping over here. But this side of the box features a front view of the gunship, which is really cool. Another Ultimate Collector Series logo down at the bottom here. This end just has the name of the set in a different language. The top of the box has the name in another different language, the LEGO logo, Star Wars logo, as well as an actual size depiction of the Mace Windu minifigure that is in the set. And the bottom of the box doesn't really have anything on it, just some more of the black greebling that is around the bottom of the front of the box as well. Just some more of that with some, just kind of legal information here on the bottom and the barcode. All right, so I open it up, and inside we've got a bunch of loose bags here, as well as something that's typical of some of the bigger sets. We've got a smaller white box inside that has even more pieces, and I believe the instruction manuals will be in there. I believe this is done just to, protect the pieces, give a little extra support for the boxes that are this large, and also protect the instruction manuals, which hopefully will be in pristine condition once we open that up. I haven't, this is something that's in the bigger sets. I've seen it recently in the roller coaster set from a few years ago, as well as the set that I just recently built. Stranger Things had a smaller white box inside as well. Just really quick before I open the other box, because all of the bags, once they're out, they're not going to fit on this table for me to show you. So the bags that were loose in the big box are bags 10 through 17, it looks like. So those look like those are all included loose in the box, and I anticipate that the white box over here will have the rest of the bags being bags 1 through 9, as well as the instruction manuals. And we also get an unnumbered bag here with the display plaque and some of these round pieces here that are going to be used on the ship itself. All right, so just as expected, in the smaller box, we've got bags 1 through 9. You can see them all laid out here. We also have another unnumbered bag, which has even more pieces, the cockpit pieces, and more of these round pieces. And we've also got 2 really long, really large Technic pins. I'm not entirely sure where they go. I think I have an idea. I think they might be part of the guns on the top but we'll see once we actually get into the build. And then this massive instruction manual, which we'll open in a second here and show you. So the instructions, it's a truly massive booklet, really thick, but that's expected. I mean, this is a huge set, one of the biggest LEGO Star Wars UCS sets, other than, like, you know, the Millennium Falcon, the newer Imperial Star Destroyer, and of course the AT-AT. But yeah, a really nice looking cover art. It just matches the front of the box. We've got some information in the front here, lots of information from the movie and about the ship. I haven't read it, but you know, there's just a lot there, a lot of detail and descriptions of that. So that's really cool to see in these more advanced sets. And then flipping forward, we've got kind of a summary of the build. So this is what each of the groups of bags are going to build, what the progress should look like after each group of bags. And as we saw in the beginning, there are 17 bags total, so a lot of pieces. This is going to be a huge set. I can't wait to get started on it. And then in the back here, we have just some advertisement here from LEGO, as well as the piece list. So, and then we've also got sticker sheets here. So it's a little bit disappointing that we still have sticker sheets in these Star Wars UCS sets, especially when certain other sets, especially like the modular building sets, do not have stickers. Every piece that requires detail like that is printed. But unfortunately, we still do have the stickers on these UCS sets. And of course, I'm not sure if this will ever change, but we've got the big sticker for the display plaque. But I don't mind seeing the stickers on that. It would be cool to see a printed piece at some point in the future. But it does really kind of bug me that we have so many stickers that are going to be actually on the model itself. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. And, you know, maybe someday they'll change it, but obviously it's not changing anytime soon. After the first set of bags, this is the progress on the gunship. So not a lot going on here yet. Obviously, this is just the first set of bags out of, I believe it was 17. And, you know, this just builds up basically the bottom of the ship. We've got all these clear pieces here, so it can kind of slide along if it's not on the stand. And then just the dark red and white coloring with some lime green here at the front. But yeah, not too much to talk about here yet, but the size of it is really impressive to me. Just to give you kind of a comparison, I have the Mandalorian Starfighter here that I recently built, and it is almost as big. I mean, you put this like on top, and it is slightly longer, obviously not as wide. Lifting the two, and again, this is just the first set of bags on the Republic gunship. I would say this weighs approximately half as much as the completed Mandalorian Starfighter. So just to show you that this gunship is going to be a truly massive set once it's complete. And you can already tell that just from the first set of bags. And here is the progress after the second set of bags. So you can see now we've got some of the details up front. So basically the nose of the ship, or at least the bottom part of it, is complete now. And we got some supports here now going down the front of the ship. So the second set of bags built all of this stuff here. Here's the progress after the third set of bags. So we've got support now for the middle and back half of the ship. So you can see all of that is reinforced really well with Technic pieces. It's going to be really sturdy. Obviously, because the model is going to be so big when it's done, you need to have all of this support to make sure that, you know, it's all stable and, you know, pieces don't fall off easily. So that is what we've got at this point in the build. Nothing else really new on the front. All the new stuff extends pretty much to here, but none of this stuff is new. So after the fourth bag, the bottom front portion of the ship is now more or less complete. We've got the addition of these cannons here at the front. They're on these rotating ball turrets here, and you've got a pretty much full range of motion here that you can rotate them and angle the cannons any way you want. You don't really have to worry about these coming off or anything. If you do pull on this section at the end, that is a little bit of a loose connection and it can come off. But as long as you don't actually pull on it, it's not going to go anywhere. If you hold it like this, it's definitely not going to go anywhere. And then we've got one of those on each side. And again, same range of motion here on the left side. And then the other addition is these panels on the front, which really have some really nice angles to close it off. You know, it's really continuous. There's not a lot of empty spaces there, or gaps in the build. So that's cool. We've got some stickers here, over here, and then the other side is pretty much exactly the same, just in reverse. So same panels, same details, same stickers. And if you've watched my videos before, I'm sure you know that I am not a big fan of stickers. And one of the reasons cropped up while I was placing the stickers on this part of the build. So when I was putting these two on, I just made a mistake and accidentally put them on upside down, and I didn't notice until I had attached this panel, and noticed that they didn't match the ones over here. So that creates an issue, because then you have to, as best you can, carefully try and peel them off so that you can reapply them in the correct orientation. And that leads to things like this that I think you can see there. There's a little bit of a crease at the edge where I peeled them off. And I tried to smooth it out the best I could once I reapplied them, but obviously you can still see a little bit of that crease there. So that's definitely a disappointing aspect of stickers that can sometimes occur. You just got to be really careful that you apply them correctly whenever you apply them. And I really just wish that, you know, the UCS sets like this, any bigger model of this scale would just use printed pieces instead of stickers, but that's not the case, so you do have to be careful of that. And these two panels are attached together by this piece here in the middle. Same thing on the other side. They actually attach to the ship itself, with these connection points here and another one back here. So it creates some really nice angles to really get the detail of the ship as accurate as they possibly can. So the fifth set of bags builds this section on the rear, which is going to be kind of support for the back end of the ship. So there's a lot of Technic pieces involved. One thing I noticed that I haven't really noticed in the past is that the Technic pins, a lot of them were harder to get into the pieces themselves, which I thought was interesting. They might have changed slightly the mold on the Technic pins with how they attach, and I just found, especially into these white pieces, it was hard to get a couple of the connection points to actually, you know, go into the holes. So I just thought that was worth noting. And then we've got a section here which can move like this. It's the same on the other side. Obviously there's going to be more attached to that in the future, so we'll show you what that looks like once it's actually complete. But yeah, just a lot of support here on the back of the ship for the panels and the whole back end of the ship that's going to go here, just giving you a full rotation of it. And one thing that you really notice once this section is added is the true sheer size of this ship, and what it's going to be when it's complete. Obviously this is going to be where the back end of the ship is, basically. So this is the full length of the ship now, and it is massive. I mean, it's well over 2/3 the width of this card table that I'm building it on. And I know that once the wings are added, the wingspan is going to be huge too. So this is just going to be a massive UCS set, which is awesome to see. Definitely the biggest one that I have, aside from the old 2002 Imperial Star Destroyer. This is definitely going to rival that, and, you know, be a huge, impressive looking display piece once it's all completed. So I'm very excited to see it completed. After 6 sets of bags, here's our progress. So you can see the bottom part of the ship is now really taking shape. And the addition here with these sets of bags are this rear portion here. So we'll show you that a little bit closer. So this is what it looks like from underneath. Lots of plates and, you know, some light gray detail. I like the pattern there. This actually opens up. Let's see if we can get that for it. Yeah. So it's basically, you know, kind of an entryway for the ship, the rear hatch, and it closes back up. It sticks in there pretty well, so you don't have to worry about it coming loose at all. Just some notes about the build itself. So really, the majority of it is just putting a lot of plates together here. The trickiest part was attaching it down in this area. It's kind of tricky because there's not a lot of places to really like hold on to make sure like all the pieces are flush, tight together with each other. So you just gotta take your time and make sure that you do that. And when I was doing it, even because it was before this this long plate was here, the pieces that actually held the back hatch on fell off a couple times when I was trying to do this. But you just got to make sure that you get everything in there nice and tight. And then the other thing I noticed was that actually, and you may have noticed in my last video clip, that I actually had these pieces on wrong. So there's one on this side and one on the other side. I actually had them switched. I'm not sure how that happened. Just kind of a common or a basic mistake, I guess, that I made. And I noticed that when I was putting this together that they were the opposite way, so I had to switch those. So now they're the right way. And then also, this whole thing gets connected up here to these Technic pieces that were put on during the last set of bags. And that can be a little bit challenging to get this pin in there, but it's not too difficult. So, all right, here's our progress after the 7th set of bags. So you can see the sides here are all paneled off now. And I noticed there was an error in the instruction booklet. So it says that the 7th set of bags are going to build this whole section with the cockpits and everything. But as you can see, this spot is still blank after the 7th set of bags. And the same picture of the model is present when it says what the 8th set of bags is going to do. So clearly a misprint here. This is showing the wrong step of progress here. But this is what you'll get really after the 7th set of bags. So just to give you a closer look, all this stuff is tiled off with the designs here. These stickers are a little annoying just because they're circles on circle pieces. It would have been really nice to have those be printed so that you could make sure that they are oriented the right way. But yeah, just showing you the whole detail. And then on the other side, we have pretty much the same stuff. All right, so the 8th set of bags builds this section containing the cockpits. It's going to go on here. So I just wanted to show you that before it's actually attached. This whole piece is built separately, and it's going to be attached with these points here onto this section right here with a Technic rod. All right, so now that this section is attached, this is what the build looks like. So you can see everything was done really nicely. Once it's connected, everything lies flush against what was already there, so there's no gaps or anything, which is really nice to see. And then we've got the 2 cockpit pieces. These are both printed and packaged in a separate bag, and the interior details are pretty much identical. I don't know if you can really see there, but there is a control panel and then a seat inside each of those cockpit spaces. And the other side looks pretty much the same. Here is our progress after 9 sets of bags. So the back section is now filled in a little bit more here with some paneling and just built up around the sides and the top. We've got these cannons here that spin. We've got some more detail on the top here with some designs, patterns with the lime green there. A couple more stickers on round pieces. I tried to get them as straight on there as I could. Again, another example where it would have really been better to use a printed piece just so you don't have that issue of potentially getting the stickers on crooked. Although, like I said, I think I did a pretty good job there getting them on right. And then, just to show you the other side, everything's pretty much the same on this side, symmetrical to the other side. So that is our progress so far. The 10th bag is the smallest one yet, and all it did was add this back panel here. So down there, and then this part here, and then we've got this additional cannon, rear cannon on the back. But yeah, that's all that was added in the 10th bag. took just a little over 10 minutes to make this edition. So definitely the smallest bag so far. The 11th bag builds this side panel, which is on this movable arm. So this is the position it's in when it's closed. You can see it's not quite flush against the side of the model. It's not really supposed to be. It is meant to kind of be a little bit loose there. The angles don't match up exactly, and I'll show you in a second from the other side. But it swings out on this arm, so to be kind of more open. There are a couple like rockets here. They don't actually come off. They're stationary, and they spin around a little bit. But you can't. They're not like flick fire missiles or anything that are featured in some like play sets. But yeah, so this just goes back and forth. You can have it closed or open, whichever way you prefer. Showing it underneath here, this is in the closed position, and you can see that part of the panel does hang down below this back panel. When I attached it, I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be like that, but I looked at some official pictures of the model, and yes, it is supposed to be like that. So not completely flush, not everything is matches up exactly with the other sections of the ship. You are going to have this little bit hanging over when this is in the closed position, and then obviously when it's in the open position, much more of it is hanging over as it should be. The 12th set of bags does indeed build this panel over on this side, and just like the one on the other side, it can move either to be in closed position or an open position like this. And then this set of bags also builds on both sides this kind of platform here. I think it's mostly meant to be support for the wings that we're going to be building next. But you can see it's there on this side as well as the other side. So the 13th set of bags builds the left wing, and you can see all the detail here with the dark red and the light gray, some lime green here. Yeah, just a lot of detail, a lot of panels, 3 plates thick, so basically the thickness of one brick, but a lot of panels put together to make it stable and, really secure. So, yeah, just give you multiple views of it. This is from the rear, and then it connects. Kind of hard to see now that it's connected, but there's those 2 black pieces that were under there, and a Technic rod goes between them, and you can see on the other side the yellow piece that the Technic rod also goes through with these pins holding the Technic rod on either side. So that's how it's connected, and it's pretty secure. It wobbles a little upward, but obviously this whole platform basically thing here is meant to stabilize the wing so it doesn't move it all downward. And obviously you're not going to be holding this upside down at all, so you don't have to worry about it, slightly going up. It's meant to be this way. And then just to give you a look, obviously the other wing is not complete yet, but this is what kind of a wingspan the set will have, or at least you can see half of the wingspan with the one wing on. So you can see it's going to be a really wide set as well as being a long set. So you definitely need to make sure you have display space for this if you pick this set up. And then also we've got some more rockets down here, similar to basically the same design as the ones that are on this door panel here. So you've got more of those down there. Also an equally, well, maybe not equally, but a decent amount of color and pattern on the underside, even though it is the bottom of the plates. They still managed to throw some color in there to give it kind of a pattern. Obviously not as intricate or as good looking as the pattern on the outside of the wing, but there is something there. Here's a view from the front after the 14th set of bags. So now we've got the right side wing. Basically all the same type of construction as the left side wing, just, kind of a mirror image of the other one, but all the same building techniques and pieces, more or less. Same details featured on the top and the bottom of the wing. We've got more rockets here, and it connects to the body of the ship the same way. You can see now just how wide this ship is. I mean, the wingspan extends almost all the way across this card table. So definitely, like I said in the previous segment, you will want to have a pretty substantial display space for the set if you want to pick it up. It's not going to fit just anywhere. You need a big shelf or a table like this or somewhere where it can be displayed with this huge wingspan and huge length too. I'll show you a view from the back here with both wings attached, and obviously these sections are not filled in at this point. I believe the next set of bags is going to build the panels that will cover these both on the front and back. But this thing is a mammoth. I mean, this is a huge Lego set, and it's awesome to see just the sheer size of it and the amount of detail that the designers were able to put into it. All right, so the 15th set of bags builds this cannon on the right side of the ship. So you can see how big it is, and one of the really long Technic rods that was included, not in a bag, is inside of this whole piece, kind of to keep everything together. And then the other one is obviously going to go on the other side. And then we also had these panels underneath the wings. So on this side and this side, they're both in the dark red color. And then on the back side, they're both in white. These were all very hard to put on, at least I found. It's hard to see where you're attaching them to, and it's kind of trial and error. They're on these kind of hinge pieces that you have to then attach to a piece on the inside underneath the wing, and you can't see where you're going with it, so it's kind of trial and error, basically, that you just have to keep trying until you get it to connect. And eventually you will, once it's aligned properly, you will feel it kind of latch in there. But it took me several times on every one of these panels of trying to get it in there, and it was very frustrating. Definitely the most frustrating part of this build, really the most frustrating part of any Lego build that I've done in a long time. I was just getting really aggravated with it, and the panels not going in where I wanted them to. And on this side, actually the one that gave me the most trouble was this one over here, of course the last one. It just would not go in, and I was doing it several times. And then this whole piece under here actually came off when I did it, so I had to take the wing off, which was a challenge in itself, reattach that piece, which was kind of challenging, and then reattach the wing, and of course I had to take off this back panel here in order to do all of that too, so I had to reattach that. But I finally got them all in, and yeah, so just a note to anyone who might be buying this set that this is definitely a challenging part of the build, getting those panels in place. So be prepared to be a little bit frustrated with those if they don't go the way you want them to right away. And then the other kind of annoying thing was placing these stickers. So, you had to be really careful that you want to make sure they're aligned really nicely and where you want them to go. And it's really tough to get stickers like that so precise, especially long ones, because if you mess it up in the beginning, you got to redo it so that it's aligned properly on the other end. And it just took a little bit of time to get those placed where I wanted them to. So yeah, definitely so far this bag has been one of the most frustrating builds. Thankfully, we're all done with the panels, so the only thing I have to worry about now is the stickers on the other cannon. After the 16th set of bags, the ship itself is now complete. So we've got the addition of the right cannon on the top of the model, as well as the ball turrets in front, and they're on these movable arms. They can move back and forth like this. You can also put them inside the ship and then have the back panels closed if you want to do that. But yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of detail on the inside there with the seat and controls for, a clone that would sit inside there and control the weapons. And then same thing, got another one on this side. Same thing, same range of motion, and it can also go on the inside if you want to have it there. The ship, as I've said in some of the previous clips of the video, is just huge once it's complete. As you can see, this card table here, the wingspan extends almost all the way across, and even the length of the set is, I think, more than 2/3 of the width of the table. So just a massive set, and it's awesome to see a set this big with so much detail packed into it. It is definitely an impressive addition to the Ultimate Collector series. And now all that we have left to do is to build the stand. So here is the display plaque and stand for the ship. We'll go over the construction of the stand in a second, but first I want to address the minifigures. I'm not going to spend a ton of time discussing kind of the controversy around these minifigures. I'll just mention it briefly. You can find more details about it on other channels like M&R Productions in particular. But when this set was chosen for the next UCS set, it was done through a fan vote as far as which model would be chosen. And then LEGO put out a kind of survey to see which minifigures the fans would like to see in the set. And I'm not sure if the final results were ever officially published, but I do know that the two minifigures that had the most attention given to them were Jedi Bob and a Phase 2 Commander Cody. If you don't know who Jedi Bob is, he is basically a generic Jedi with a smiling expression that appeared in the first ever LEGO Republic Gunship back in 2002. So those were the two figures that fans wanted the most, and when this set got announced and eventually released, we found out that neither of those two minifigures were included. So instead we got a Mace Windu minifigure and a kind of a generic clone pilot. And some of the comments that the designers made kind of rubbed fans the wrong way, and I can definitely appreciate that because, fans were asked what they wanted and their voice was not taken into consideration at all. So that's just a brief overview of it. Like I said, you can find more stuff about it and more commentary on it on other YouTube channels, I'm sure, but I'm just going to comment on the minifigures themselves as they are. So first we got Mace Windu here, and since I primarily collect the Ultimate Collector series sets, the helmet sets and stuff like that, I don't do play sets. This is my first ever Mace Windu minifigure in my collection, so that also means it's my first ever purple lightsaber. So he's got his Jedi robes here, a little bit of dirt or sand on them. He's got back printing there with, more of that dirt on it. And, he looks really nice as a minifigure, just obviously not what fans wanted in this set. And then over to the clone, similarly, this is my first clone trooper of any kind. And my favorite color happens to be yellow, so it is kind of nice to see those yellow features of his armor and helmet. But yeah, definitely would have been cooler to see a Phase 2 Commander Cody. Obviously, we do have that now with the release of this year's ATTE set. But it would have been nice to see him here as well. But this isn't a bad figure overall, in my opinion. Just kind of a generic clone trooper, clone pilot with the yellow details. This is the face underneath, so, just a generic clone face. There's only one side to it. So, really, an okay figure. Definitely not as good as what we could have gotten, and, kind of lackluster in terms of what you would expect from a UCS set like this. Then we got the display plaque here, which is standard for all Ultimate Collector series sets, with the outline of the ship there and details about the ship itself. Unfortunately, they're still using a sticker for this piece. I mean, it's not a huge deal. The stickers for these plaques usually don't tend to degrade very much over time. I haven't personally noticed it with my oldest UCS sets that are from like 2002, 2003. The stickers are still in pretty good shape, whereas some stickers from other sets definitely degrade over time. But it's still, at this point in, the development of Lego, they definitely had the capability to print pieces like this. And for a premium Ultimate Collector Series set like this, I think they really need to look into moving forward, starting to do these plaques printed instead of using the big sticker. That's just my personal preference, and I hope to see them change that at some point in the near future. The stand itself is really sleek. It's tiled off in a lot of sections. It just looks really nice. You can see there's some supports here in the front that will support the front of the ship. Obviously, the ship being as big as it is, it weighs a substantial amount, so you definitely want to have a lot of support there. This piece here is going to be what connects to the hole in the bottom of the ship, which is, standard for pretty much all UCS sets. And you can see that's that hole right there. So it's usually a 2x2 hole inside the ship that can go onto a component of the stand. So that's going to go here. And then, again, this is added support for the back of the ship. Another thing I want to mention quick is that, so this is the way it's built in the instructions, but you could actually easily remove this piece and make a slight modification to have this on the opposite side. That only matters if you want to display your ship pointing in the other direction, because obviously this side of the stand is meant for the front of the ship and this is for the rear of the ship. So if you wanted it pointing this direction to the right, ideally you would want to have the display plaque still in the front, so you could switch this and move this to the other side so that you can display it this way with the stand with the display plaque still in the front here. And that's actually what I'm going to plan to do with the current setup that I have for displaying this ship. It's going to look better displayed from this direction. So usually I don't modify my Lego sets in any way, but this is such a slight modification and not using any added parts or anything that I'm okay with it, at least for now, until I find a better place to display the set. But yeah, I want to display it from this direction, so I want the stand to be on this side when you're looking at it. So here is the finished product. Now it's on the stand, so you can see the way that the stand is designed. The ship is angled downward a little bit, so it gives it a really nice look for display. I really like how it looks on the stand. Obviously, that's the ideal way you want to display UCS sets, with the ship displayed on top of the stand. So yeah, just some final thoughts about the set. Again, it is just a massive set, really detailed, really well designed, really a solid set. It's very heavy, but you can transport it fairly easily. It's just heavy, so you got to be careful that you don't drop it or anything, because obviously that wouldn't be good. But everything stays together really well, and you can carry it in a number of different ways and not worry about things falling off, any pieces falling off or anything, as long as you don't knock it into a wall or something accidentally. So if you watch my other reviews, you know that I time my builds to see how long it takes me overall, and also to compare kind of my build speed with other sets. So this one took me a total of 7.59 hours, so just over 7.5 hours. So quite a bit of time. Obviously, I split that up over a period of several days where I just work on 1 or 2 sets of bags at a time. And I also look at the average time spent per piece. So for this one, that averages out to about 8.3 seconds per piece. And my overall average on sets that I've built in the past couple of years, which range from smaller play sets to big Ultimate Collector Series sets like this and other advanced models like the modular buildings, that average is around 8.5 seconds per piece. So this being 8.3 seconds per piece is slightly under my overall average, which I was a little bit surprised by, especially because, as I noted in some of the previous clips in this video, I had some difficulty, especially attaching these parts on the underside of the wings, that really kind of ate into my overall build time, that I thought was honestly going to make it be more than my overall average, but it turned out to still come out a little bit less than that. So it definitely is a challenging build. There are some spots like on those wings that can be really tough and even aggravating to get, but it was definitely a fun build. You know, I never really got bored with it. Just so many cool angles and a lot of little details that are thrown in there all throughout the ship, and it's really cool seeing it come together, especially from where you're starting out. You know, when I started out, I still didn't really have a true idea of the real size of this ship as it would turn out to be. And, you know, as I kept adding more and more onto it, I was just continuously getting more and more impressed by the sheer size of it and, you know, just how massive it was going to end up being. And the final product is really, truly impressive as a display piece. Overall, I would give this set an 8.5 out of 10, maybe even closer to 9 out of 10. The only drawback really is the disappointment that LEGO provided with the minifigure selection. Some people might not care about it, some people might care a lot about it, but it is something worth noting. The ship itself is really amazing, and, you know, the ship itself would get close to, you know, between a 9.5 and a 10 out of 10 on its own. It's just a very impressive and really sleek looking model. You know, huge and tons of detail. As I continue to mention, it is just a fantastic UCS set. Probably one of my favorites that I own. I'm definitely a big fan of the Slave One from 2015 and the TIE Fighter, I believe, that was also from 2015, around that time. Those are probably my two favorites of the sets that I own, but this is right up there. I mean, it is just fantastic looking. And, you know, when you walk into a room and see this on display, it just kind of blows your mind away, just the sheer size of it and the amount of detail that they were able to put into it. So, yeah, I would definitely give this an 8.5, even a 9 out of 10. Again, the only drawback being the minifigure selection, which is definitely not bad by any means, just mediocre and obviously not what the fans wanted. If you don't own this set already and want to pick it up, it is available for $400 now from LEGO, originally retailing for $350, but they did raise the prices in August of 2022. You can probably find deals on other retailers like Zavi and places like that. But if you want to get one directly from LEGO, it's going to cost you $400. I think that it's worth the money even at $400. You know, it's definitely one of my biggest LEGO sets that I currently own, and it's a really impressive model. So, in my opinion, I would be willing to spend $400 on this set, even though I did buy this when it was still $350. But ultimately, that's up to you and your decision as to what you want to purchase. I think it is worth the money. Obviously, once this set retires, it's probably going to go up even more on the secondary market. So I would, if you want it and can afford it, I would definitely recommend picking it up now while it's still available from LEGO. It just came out last year, so I would expect it to be available for at least another year, if not a little bit longer. Another reason to pick this set up would be if you want to see LEGO do more prequel UCS sets in the future. This is obviously only the third set really that is from the prequels as far as UCS sets go. We had the Naboo Starfighter, which was barely even a UCS set. It did get that classification, but it wasn't really the UCS scale. And then Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. Other than that, we haven't had any ship-based UCS sets from the prequel series. So if you want to see LEGO do more of those, I think the best way to tell them that would be to pick this set up so that they see that this set gets a lot of sales. And so, yeah, if you're interested in the prequels and want to see more stuff like this and can afford this set, I would definitely recommend picking it up. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please leave a comment below. If you liked this review and want to see more, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel. I will be doing more LEGO reviews in the future for any sets that I get and build. This was definitely a really fun one, so I hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.